Why would demons beg to enter a herd of pigs? Sounds weird, right? But it really happened. And it wasn't random. Behind that strange request lies a dark, hidden reason, one that most people overlook. It was a smart, calculated spiritual move, a strategy that reveals just how manipulative and cunning the kingdom of darkness really is. Maybe you've heard this story before. Jesus delivers a possessed man, the demons go into the pigs rush off a cliff. End of story, right? Not even close. What happened there shows exactly how evil operates. Not just to oppress, but to destroy reputations, twist perceptions, and most of all, get people to reject Jesus. This video is going to open your eyes. You'll see this moment with deeper understanding. You'll discover the real reason the demons were so desperate. You'll realize the power of a single transformed life. And who knows, maybe you'll see what still needs deliverance inside of you. So stay with me, because what comes next might shake everything you thought you knew about spiritual warfare. In the region of the Gadarenes, no one dared to go near the cemetery. Everyone knew about that possessed man. He wandered around naked, screaming day and night, cutting himself with sharp stones. They had tried to chain him up, but he broke every restraint. It was as if something beyond human strength was living inside him. A spirit of destruction had made its home there. He didn't sleep, didn't eat, and had completely lost his sense of identity. People stopped seeing him as a person. To them, he was just a problem. But to Jesus, he was still a soul. And that changes everything. Jesus arrives by boat on the other side of the sea. As soon as he steps onto the land, the possessed man runs toward him. But strangely, he doesn't attack. He kneels down, almost like he's surrendering. Something inside him recognizes who just arrived. It's the Son of the Most High God. What no one else could control now bows without Jesus even saying a word. The moment is intense. A heavy silence fills the air. Everyone braces for the worst. But something unexpected happens. The spirit inside the man submits to Jesus. Because where Jesus shows up, darkness has no choice but to fall silent. Suddenly, the man starts to scream. But it's not his voice. The demons inside him are speaking. "Don't torment us," they beg. That says a lot right there. In the presence of Jesus, evil loses its grip. The fear they express is raw and obvious. They knew their time was up. The authority of Christ is absolute. Not even the forces of hell can resist it. What looked like chaos, a man lost in misery, becomes the stage for divine power. But why were the demons so desperate? And why make such a strange request? Jesus asks, "What is your name?" The reply is chilling. Legion. That Roman military term referred to up to 6,000 soldiers, meaning the man wasn't just possessed, he was overtaken. It wasn't just one demon. It was a full-scale invasion. An army of darkness had taken over his soul and body. The man's mind had been silenced. He was a prisoner. That's what the enemy does. It steals your voice, your identity. When you forget who you are, you lose the strength to resist. But one thing is clear in this moment. Even the strongest demonic forces bow before Christ. The man couldn't set himself free, but Jesus could. And when heaven steps in, hell starts to crumble. Jesus didn't need rituals, long prayers, or sacrifices. Just one word, one command, and darkness loses. The spiritual realm is real. The battle is invisible, but victory begins with faith. Not just belief, but knowing who Jesus is. Only He holds authority over oppression. Still, the demons don't leave right away. They beg for something strange and twisted. "Don't send us into the abyss," they plead, as if there's something worse than being cast out. They knew judgment was coming, but they wanted to delay it. Their fear of the abyss reveals something. Even demons follow laws in the spirit realm. Hell isn't a playground for the wicked. It's torment, and they were standing before the righteous judge. But they had one last move to make, and it's where the story takes a darker turn. "Let us enter those pigs," the demons ask. Pigs? Why not just leave? Why insist on entering animals? The Bible says around 2,000 pigs were grazing nearby, and when Jesus gave permission, the demons entered them. The pigs went wild, ran straight off a cliff and drowned in the sea. A massive animal suicide. But this wasn't random. It was symbolic. The demons were sending a message. If we can't destroy the man, we'll destroy what he values. Here's where the deeper truth is revealed. The demons didn't ask for pigs by accident. They knew that destroying those animals would cause outrage. Pigs were valuable. They were a source of income. So this wasn't just about inhabiting bodies. It was about creating damage, financial loss, public scandal, and most of all, turning people against Jesus. The demons were strategic. They knew exactly where to strike. Their goal wasn't just possession, it was rejection. And it worked. The pig herders ran into town and told everyone. When the people came back, instead of celebrating the man's freedom, they got angry. They begged Jesus to leave. One man's deliverance cost them their profits, and the demons knew it. They hit where it hurt, the wallet. That's how evil works. It doesn't need to possess you to control you. It just needs to make you value money more than God's presence. And sadly, many still fall for that trap today. The man who had lived like an animal was now clothed, sitting, and in his right mind. He had found himself again. But ironically, the people who seemed sane were now the ones acting irrational. They saw a miracle with their own eyes and still rejected Jesus. They chose their pigs over the power of God. They preferred comfort over confrontation. And that says a lot. Sometimes, we would rather stay in our chains than embrace the freedom that forces us to change. This part of the story holds up a mirror. How many times do we reject blessings just to hold on to things that profit us? How often do we ignore the supernatural because we're too attached to the natural? This wasn't just about pigs. It was about priorities. Fear of loss can keep us from receiving something far greater. The miracle wasn't the problem. The real issue was what it exposed, that it was time to change. And people don't like that. Their minds were in conflict. A man had been set free. That should have been a celebration. But the financial loss overshadowed the spiritual gain. The demons knew exactly what they were doing. When money becomes a god, even miracles are ignored. And just like today, back then the scandal wasn't the possessed man. It was the deliverer. Jesus became a threat not because of what he did wrong, but because he exposed what was hidden. And when truth challenges comfort, rejection is the easy way out. While everyone begged Jesus to leave, the freed man made a heartfelt request. "Let me come with you." But Jesus gives an unexpected answer. "Go home. Tell everyone what God has done for you." In other words, Jesus turns this man's pain into purpose. He didn't need to follow Jesus physically. He had already been sent. God never wastes pain. What looked like the end became the beginning of a calling. Shame became testimony. The graveyard became a pulpit. Chaos became a platform for faith. Picture it. The man who once lived among tombs now walks freely, testifying to God's power. He became a living sign that deliverance is real, that no soul is too lost to be restored. This wasn't just a rescue. It was a divine reboot. And that's what God still does. He doesn't just free us. He gives us new assignments. Sometimes he sends us right back to the place we came from, but now with fire in our bones and purpose in our steps. This is where the story flips everything. Though the people rejected Jesus, he planted a seed. One transformed man became the key to an entire region. And later, when Jesus returned, the welcome was completely different. What changed? That man, the ex-possessed. He was the bridge between rejection and revival. The miracle they once pushed away spread through a silent testimony. Because when light shines in darkness, no one can ignore it for long. And it all started with a herd of pigs. The man was set free, the pigs drowned, and the people told Jesus to leave. This story is a warning, a reminder that sometimes we fear the miracle more than the chains. We'd rather protect our comfort than face the transformation that true freedom brings. But Jesus doesn't force anyone. He shows up, delivers, and waits for our response. What about you? Have you been through something similar? Have you ever seen someone reject the very thing that could heal them? Or maybe, have you felt the same conflict in your own heart? The pig story isn't really about pigs. It's about the soul, about the choices we make when heaven confronts our idols. If this message spoke to you, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. That way, more people can hear powerful biblical stories like this. And hey, there's another video on the screen right now that you won't want to miss. Click it, and let's keep discovering these hidden truths together. See you there.